We're here at the Standard Midtown. They just finished. We're going to meet with the developer, Carlos Rosso. Very excited to show you all the Standard Residences and meet with Carlos Rosso, the man behind the development.
So the important thing in Midtown, you know, it's a neighborhood that has been master planned for the last 25 years.
Yep.
It's a master plan by Bernard Siskovich. And one of the biggest natural conditions of Midtown is that Midtown is elevated. It's plus 14 feet. What does that do? It allows us to put all the ground floor spaces, the lobbies and all the retails in relationship to the sidewalk. That's the best for retail.
Yeah.
You know, you will see if you go to Brickell or you go to other areas, you know, the buildings have to be elevated because of insurance. Here, the buildings can be at grade. And that's night and day.
That makes it very walkable, very safe. There's a lot of females that live in Midtown.
You've done your homework.
I've done my homework. So there's a lot of good qualities about Midtown, and you're bringing them to life. You're bringing this area to life. Carlos, we're excited to hear about it. We're going to go on a tour. You just got TCO of the Standard Midtown. Great project, great brand. We're going to meet one of the retail owners here. She's opening up in a few weeks. So excited to talk to you today.
Thank you, man. This space, all these areas, you know, I think this is the most important part of what I really like, you know, which is to activate the sidewalks, to activate the cities with public spaces. Even this small setback, you know, when it's used properly, it's going to be a place full of cafes, full of umbrellas, full of public art. There's a sculpture coming here, you know, from California. And look, oh, here we have the first one, Rosetta, they are opening.
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Hi.
How are you doing? Hi.
Good
Good to see you.
Nice
Yes.
to see you.
Awesome.
You guys are working?
Yes, we're so excited. You know, I hear we're opening at the end of May.
Awesome.
Great.
So Midtown, get ready. The best coffee, matcha, bombolone. Amazing. Like all these magical tastes.
Yes.
It's amazing. So we're so
Good luck.
excited.
You know, thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great
thank
to see
you.
you guys.
Right. Let's go inside the Standard.
Okay, perfect.
But also one thing that's very interesting, this area is only 100 units an acre in terms of development potential.
Really?
You know,
Yeah,
Brickell, you
yeah.
can build 500 units an acre, downtown 1,000.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people moving from those neighborhoods here. They want more open space. They want more distance between the buildings. If you look at the buildings here, because of the lower density, there's a lot more view corridors in between the buildings.
These sidewalks are expansive.
They're very big.
It's very welcoming.
Exactly. And we are 2 blocks away from the real machine of luxury real estate right now, which is the design district.
That's
you know,
right.
what is happening around the design district and what Craig has been able to do, Craig Robbins, with the design district is create an anchor for luxury residential around it. Right now, there's Miami Design Residences by David Chipperfield, Kempinski Residences, and even David Martin just bought a site 2 blocks away from us.
That's right.
So we're doing something right.
You're doing something right. You're also 10 minutes from the beach. There's a lot of people that are interested in moving here. There's less traffic, it's more open, and you have a whole vision for bringing this community, this part of Miami, Midtown to life.
Let's go into the
Awesome.
Standard.
Let's do it.
See, I just saw them walking, and I said, do you want to come and take some pictures at the Standard? And there we are.
That's a cute dog.
Yeah.
That's a very cute dog. I grew up going to the Standard in downtown LA. So right after college, that was the hot spot. And then when I lived in New York City, meatpacking, going to the Standard, so incredible brand. How did you pick the Standard?
I knew the Standard brand, you know, since the times that I was working at Related and we did Paraíso. My initial idea, you know, was to do a small hotel connected to the Standard in Miami Beach.
Right.
You know, it ended up being the building that we converted to Michael Short's Amara restaurant, which is also a huge success. Back then, I think it was 2014, you know, probably 10 years ago, I met Andre Balaz and I met, you know, Amar Lalvani and Miranda Mancuso, who were the sort of creative brains behind the brand, and we stayed in contact, you know. And when I left Related and I started designing this building, I said, this is an amazing location for the Standard.
Great location.
And it's the first time the Standard agreed to do a residential branded project in the world.
That's incredible. And you have over 200 units here.
227 units,
Okay.
of which we have only 5 left.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
That's great. And you just got TCO, and so you're getting a sneak peek into the brand new Standard Residences Midtown with the developer, Carlos.
Thank you very much. And you know what is very important for me, this was my first project on my own after so many years at Related, was to over-deliver. You know,
Yeah.
to be able to make sure that, you know, I did something that I didn't care so much about profits, but I cared more about reputation.
Right.
And knowing that I'm starting a career on my own with my own firm after so many years, I wanted to make sure that I deliver to the market. You know, and after 20 years working for somebody like George and a company like Related, you know, to be able to say, you know, and to hear from the brokers that they are also happy with the product that they're receiving is the biggest accolades for me, you know. And it's a high bar, and I hope that we have exceeded it here at the Standard.
Awesome.
So this is a lobby which from day one was intended to be in the corner of the building, you know, across the street from Trader Joe's, across the street from Sugarcane, across the street from Italica, so to activate and to energize this corner. And it was from day one intended to be a place where you could watch and enjoy the spectacle of the urban life in Midtown.
Right.
You know, as you well know, Midtown is a very, very safe neighborhood. It's 100% residential. There's very few offices around here. So that means that the buildings are always lived in.
Yeah.
People are in the balconies, the lights are on, people are looking down. So people feel very safe walking here at night. And the fact, as I told you before, that we are at the same level as the sidewalks in a master plan community that has streets inside that don't take you anywhere, which means that the cars drive at a much lower speed.
Slower speed, yeah.
Because the main street, which is Midtown Boulevard, goes from 29th to 32nd, but you cannot cross.
And there's a lot of open space here.
Yeah.
A lot of parks here. When I think of Midtown, you have a huge dog park over here. There's a park for kids and for families. And so that's attracting a new demographic here.
You will see in the follow-up project, which is Midtown Park, which we're going to visit after this, you know, that's really what we put the accent on. Mm-hmm. You know, we really looked at this neighborhood, we met with the neighbors, and, you know, we told them what our vision was, which actually coincided with their vision, you know, which is more active sidewalks, more outdoor cafes, no loading, no garage entrances, no storage on Midtown Boulevard. 90% of the facade has to be glass so that we activate the street, and it has to be transparent glass so that people can see inside. And the idea is always that, you know, people pass through here and say, wow, look at the beautiful lobby, look at the beautiful art. That's a sculpture from Gaspar Libedinsky from Argentina. These are paintings from Federico Lanzi also.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
That's also Federico Villarroel. You know, so we are bringing a lot of art. The idea is that people that are outside the building enjoy looking inside, and it makes it also an object of desire.
Right.
You know? Public space operates like that. You know, when you think of the most expensive real estate, in general, it's in front of public space.
Right.
You know, people around Central Park, you walk Central Park, you look around and say like, oh, I wish I could live there.
Yes.
You know, Champs-Élysées, the same, you know. So the best spaces that sell real estate are the public spaces,
right,
which is counterintuitive, you know.
That is counterintuitive.
So, you know, when we did a lot of public parks also when I was at Related with Paraíso, Icon Bay, people were saying, oh, but you know, the park is going to be full of homeless and full of this and full of that. It's like, no, it works the other way around. If you activate the public space, A, you're giving extra spaces to your buyers, and B, you're making all those spaces safer.
Right.
And you're making your real estate more desirable.
You're investing in the building, in the project.
Yeah, but also in the city, and the city gives you back in value. You know, that's something that, you know, people walking in front of your building and looking at your buildings, you know, it's a great way of marketing your buildings.
Right. Awesome.
Particularly for the resale value from our buyers right now. No? So anybody that walks here says, oh, you know, I wish I could live. Why didn't I buy at the Standard?
Yeah.
Means the resale values go up. It means helps me, helps the next project.
Right.
So.
Have you started closings yet?
Yeah, we started closings. We have around 30 units closed already.
Wow.
So people are closing and they're super happy with the building.
Exciting times.
You know, I'm very proud for my team. I'm very proud of the architects and the interior designers. Urban Robot, Arquitectonica did an amazing job. in this building. Obviously, my partnership with the Standard has been great. You know, not only have we delivered a great product, but we have become also very good friends. So it's great.
Awesome.
I can't complain.
Yeah, great.
Let's go and walk.
Okay.
It's also, we'll have a fob and the cafe.
Okay.
You know, you will have access from the lobby into the cafe of Rosetta.
That's great.
Which is like a great
Yeah, they come
brand.
down and coffee, and it's great for Rosetta to have.
It's great for Rosetta, and you know, we show them, hey, look, this is going on. People come here and do the closings, and like, you know, it's like it's part of the co-marketing that we do with them. And we're filling all the lobbies and all the common areas with a lot of art. My partners are telling me, please stop. You know, it's enough. And I said, like, no, but we still have some great artists that are coming. You know, this is Maritza Fonseca from Brazil. Yeah. She did this amazing video installation for the project. And Jen Clay, Jessica Trossman from Argentina.
So from the beginning, this was a co-development with Standard.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have a building and you have a development, and then you bring in a brand. Other times, you bring in the brand, and together
you will see this is a very special building, because the secret business-wise of this job, of the success of this project, was that we didn't have to build parking, because we have a parking garage touching our wall.
That is a good secret.
So we didn't have to build parking, so I saved on parking. So I was able to compete price-wise.
$20-30 million.
Yeah, so I was able to compete in price and offer the buyers great value. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, as developers, you know, we have to distinguish ourselves by offering more.
Of course.
Offering value and offering more. And how do you offer more? There's a lot of different strategies. You will see the one that we used here was basically telling buyers, hey, these are all small units, efficient units, and most of the people that are buying here are investors that are going to rent their units, and you really don't need parking. And if you want parking, you rent it out. It's $100 a month, and your tenant will rent it out.
$100 a month for parking.
For parking.
That's great. Yeah, that's market. You can live here if you want, though.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You can. Yes, sure. But you know, this floor is this what we call the sports floor, which has, you know, one of the, I think, coolest amenities in Miami.
saw the pickleball paddles.
Yeah. So
this is going to be packed.
Pickleball disco.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can put the lights off and you have the black lights, you know, and it's like...
Is this the first pickleball disco in the world?
Yes.
Where did you get that idea? This is genius.
Well, this is an idea together with the Standard. We said, like, hey, what can we do that is different, that is cool, you know? So we had all this volume that I couldn't put units here because I don't have windows.
Okay.
So, you know, how do we basically activate and how do we monetize all this real estate that I couldn't basically sell? And so we said, okay, let's do this type of amenities that in another typical project would involve too much expensive volume. But here, you know, it's cheap volume that I cannot use. So we did the pickleball paddle. We brought the Karen Rifas, who's an artist, to inspire us and do these murals. And I think everything's going to look super cool.
It's a great amenity for the residents and for the owners. So the Standard is known for its F&B.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the F&B concepts in the rooftop restaurant.
Okay, so the Standard is known for their F&B. So when we started designing the project, you know, I told them, hey, do you guys want to lease some space from us, you know, and to do your F&B? And they said, Carlos, you know, we don't do leases, we do management contracts. Yeah. And I said, I have a lot of experience in restaurants, and management contracts end up being a disaster for the owner. Yeah. You know, so I'm not going to do a management deal, but I offer you a first right of refusal on the terms that somebody comes and leases space. Yeah. And I offer you an approval right over that tenant. Yeah. So that you are sure that you curate the restaurants or the cafes together with me, and we make sure that what we are delivering is in line with the ethos of the Standard brand. At the end of the day, the Standard also, in some cases, they don't operate their own restaurants. They sublet to someone else. That's right. So they were perfectly aligned, and I think we got some great tenants attracted by the Standard brand. So we have the Juvia guys, you know, Juvia
from
Lincoln
Miami
Road,
Beach,
from Miami Beach, opening a concept on the roof called Solana, you know, and which is basically a scaled down version of Juvia. And also we have Rosetta that you just saw. We have Sushi Garage. Yeah. And we have Il Manarino, which is another concept from Italy.
Okay.
It's a butcher, you know, you pick your meat, they
Yeah.
cook it for you, and they serve it. So
Yeah.
it's a cool concept for Midtown. This is the social club. You know, we were in the first club, it was the sports club. Buenas, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? ¿Todo bien? So this is like a social club, you know, it's like a social lounge where people can come and, you know, do a birthday party or come and with their laptops.
I love the high
and work.
ceilings.
Yeah. So the idea again was because we have that garage.
Yeah.
What do we do to bring light, natural light, to the last floor?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And what functions do we do in the places that we don't have that much natural light? So that's why we did all this in glass. There's a co-working space on the top. So you will see when we go to the co-working space.
Carlos is an architect
Yes.
by experience, schooling, so he really has the design element in mind when you're building these buildings, and you can see it here at the Standard.
No, normally, you know, you design buildings, you will see when we go again to Midtown Park, you put all the amenities in one floor. Here, because of the configuration with the garage, we had to put all the amenities in an area in the center of the building, and we needed to put it instead of side by side on top of each other.
Yeah.
So here we have 3 floors of amenities, you know, and they're like interconnected with double heights in between to be able to get some of the natural light into the back of the amenities.
We're going through this design process in North Bay Village right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have units in the front, and then we have parking in the back. We have double height floors for the gym and fitness center. So, yeah,
good.
Very interesting.
So this is like a public lounge, quieter lounge. And then we have another lounge, still not finished, but it's like a cinema that you will have a big screen, TV here.
Who was the contractor?
Civic.
Civic. Okay.
Yeah. And that's a billiards room. So you can rent all this, you know, and have a smaller crowd do a party.
Yeah.
You know, and always the view of the pickleball, people playing there. So the whole idea is to try to mix and match all the amenities so that you see into each other amenity. And it's a different concept from the traditional amenity floor,
right?
You know, because you have units also on these amenity floors.
Yeah, it's creating a community. There's an interest in everything that's going on, and you can activate the space and see what's going on, and they're talking to each other.
Yeah, this is still not finished, but this is the 12th floor, and the idea of the 12th floor is we will have here an arch, and all this area on that side is the restaurant.
Okay.
And we will have an access with a fob
Yeah.
on this side, and this is the area for the residents.
Okay.
So basically what we did, we looked at all the rooftop restaurants in Miami.
Yeah.
And we said, let's go there and have dinner.
Yeah.
You know, let's feel the space. You know, let's go there and have lunch, and let's see what do we like and what we don't like. You know, and there's some restaurants in the roof where you're having your food, and suddenly a hotel guest passes in front of you. You know, in a Zunga.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to the
Flip-flops.
pole and,
Yeah.
and flip flops. So we wanted to change the traffic here, and we did 2 separate entrances. And this takes you directly to the pool. So this is the restaurant, this is the Juvia restaurant.
Yeah.
The restaurant is a privately owned restaurant, a lease that we've done, again, to try to monetize every single square feet of the job. But we offer the residents service and food service from the pool restaurant into them.
Great.
So they have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So this is a pool. We're waiting for the final permit from the health department. Before putting all the furniture and the FF&E, there's a pool, and it has a jacuzzi. It will have music, same music that's going to be playing in the restaurant.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is to bring that vibe of the Standard to
Yeah,
this
this is
area
the
of Midtown.
Standard. This is what the Standard
That's
is
what
about.
the Standard is all about.
Yeah.
And come and I'll take you and I'll show you the next job.
Perfect.
So this is, I think, the biggest, most important site that was left in Miami without development. This is Midtown Park. This is really the hole in the donut. You know, it's what we needed to fill in to connect Wynwood with Midtown and the design district.
Right.
You know, this artery that is here is Midtown Boulevard was originally thought as a natural pedestrian connection between Wynwood and the design district. And when we fill in this with our project and our vision, I think it's going to really activate and improve the connection between Wynwood, Midtown, and the design district.
This is great for the residents, and Carlos mentioned the hole in the donut. And in development terms, that means that everything around this piece of land went up.
Yes.
So there's literally like a hole in the donut. And for the buyers here and the eventual residents, that value has been created. So they get to come in when everything is really there and enjoy the benefits of everything that you created.
And it's a very interesting site. This site was owned by Walmart. And Walmart had proposed a huge box, full of trucks and loading and stuff like that. And the community in Midtown opposed it. And it is one of the first cases that Walmart, one of the largest companies in the US, was forced to sell.
Wow.
So that tells you the strength of the community in Midtown.
That's right. And when I was watching some of your other interviews, getting ready for this, and I couldn't imagine Walmart being here. It would be terrible for this neighborhood and for the community.
But this is how far Miami has come.
Right.
This was supposed to be an area for Walmart and a Macy's.
Right.
And suddenly those big box retailers disappeared, and progress came, and people started moving in, and now people don't accept that in their backyard. So when we started designing this project, and they found out that we had bought the site, they came and they told me, so what are you guys doing? And I'm like, we still haven't designed anything.
Right.
No, but you don't understand. We fought Walmart.
Yeah.
And we have very precise ideas and concepts of what we would like you to incorporate into the project. And I'm like, okay, so let's talk.
Let's talk.
Suddenly I had an army in front of me,
Right.
And they said, we don't want a big box. We don't want a huge parking, with towers all around.
Right.
We want to be able to walk through the site. We want to be able to have public spaces and parks. We want to be able to walk from Midtown into Wynwood.
And what year did you buy the site?
My partners bought the site 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago? Probably not. 8 years ago, sorry.
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
8 years ago. And how much did they pay?
They paid $25 million.
For 5 acres.
acres.
For 5 acres.
Yes.
Yeah. That's in the heart of Miami. So patience, investing. I heard you say, the longer you wait, the more you're going to pay.
The longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. At the end of the day, Miami is obviously a city that has had its cycles, but when we come out of a bad cycle, we get to a new top.
Even higher.
So we go even higher. So again, I always say, that real estate is a generational business, because you really create value by waiting.
Yeah.
Obviously also by developing at the right time and at the right moment, but for longer term investors that really are not sort of, IRR driven, I think real estate is a great asset class to hold for the long time.
You see the most successful investors, whether real estate, stocks, other assets, art, and they're long-term holders.
Yes.
They're not buying and selling and trading, day trading, flipping. It's really long-term value creation.
Yeah, there's a saying, a very famous Jewish developer here in Miami told me, it's like, never sell.
Never sell. Never sell.
Refinance,
Yeah.
Never sell. So you will see now when we go to the sales center of this project, our vision for the job. It incorporates a lot of the things that we've been talking about the sidewalks, about the public spaces of Midtown, and the input of the community. Plus, we brought in another concept, which is a public paddle club with Ultra that we're going to start building now on the south face of the project. The project is divided in 2 phases, and I will be able to explain you a little bit more.
Those buildings are going?
Those buildings are not ours.
Okay.
Okay. But we are all around it. That building is zoned only for 5 stories.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we are also zoned for 5 stories on each corner. So it's our project here is a 28-story tower, 18-story towers in the back, a big commercial building, and a 2 pedestrian paseos, a north pedestrian paseo, a south pedestrian paseos, an east park and a west park. So the center of the project, the heart of the project, has been designed as a pedestrian experience for the
That's great for the residents.
For the residents.
Did you try to buy them?
We tried to convince them to buy them, but they wanted too much money, and then we said,
Yeah, it's not worth it.
not worth it.
Yeah.
We designed around it, and now
Yeah,
it is what it is.
yeah, that's right.
Hey,
Look at this place.
film him. This is this is our.
Oh, brother.
How you
big
doing?
fan.
Hey,
Ryan
Ryan
Kelly.
Ryan
Jay
Kelly.
Roberts, nice to meet you.
Ryan Kelly.
Yeah,
Nice
awesome.
to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
You're closing some units.
We have 19 here.
Wow.
He's the biggest.
He's a superstar.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
He made it super easy
Yeah,
to sell it.
of course.
Yeah, and the product came out unbelievable. I was actually just talking to Ruben and a couple other guys that already moved in.
Yes.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Carlos
That's
did
good.
an amazing
Nailed
job.
it.
Yeah,
That's
good.
You
absolutely.
never really know, right? With renderings, and you never know. But
Of course.
when we came in, what a relief.
With 1,600 units delivered, he knows what he's doing.
This guy
Yeah.
knows his stuff.
Yeah.
No, the product came out amazing, and the guys that have already come through have been super
Probably
excited.
over the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me parece muy bien. Disfruten de todo lo que quieran, So this is Midtown Park. Midtown Park is again another project that I think is going to redefine completely Midtown. As I was saying before, Midtown has this particular characteristics. The most important one being that we are at plus 14, and we can have all our lobbies and restaurants at the same level as the sidewalk. That makes it very similar to Buenos Aires, to New York, to other
Europe.
cities, to Europe in general, where people can walk on the sidewalk and look into glass and look at a shop, or look at people having lunch in a restaurant or in a bar. And believe it or not, I didn't know about it so much until we started doing our in-depth study of Midtown. It makes people feel very safe, that they're being watched all the time, particularly single women.
Yeah.
The biggest tenants, the biggest renters in Midtown are single women. They feel very, very safe. They feel all the time watched. They pass in front of public areas. There's no office space that gets dark at night.
Right.
So,
There's no dark corners.
there's no dark corners.
Very
And the street, Midtown Boulevard, has been designed from day one with the premise that you don't have loading dock, you cannot have parkings, you cannot have garbage coming in and out. That sometimes you walk in Brickell and you're going into, I don't know, and comes to mind, going into Brickell City Center, and suddenly, poof, you pass in front of a garage or a place where the building throws their garbage.
Right.
And it throws you completely off.
It's different.
So here, all the loading and all of that is done on the sides of Midtown.
Yeah.
And it's like that from
So
day
it's
one.
very well designed.
Very well designed. So this is the sidewalk that we just saw there. That's that big setback that we have. And also we have it at the Standard. And what we did is we opened it up to a park here, which at the same time help us create a drop-off for the cars for the central building.
Yeah.
Initially, we were talking with a very famous furniture
Okay.
store,
Okay.
to come here and take this house.
Yes,
You know
yes,
who I'm talking
yes,
about.
yes.
And at the end of the day, they decided not to come because they want to be on the beach. So we said, we create this building.
Their loss.
Yeah, we create this building, but we are getting them
Yeah.
involved in another way on the project that very soon people are going to start listening about, and they're going to be really amazed. So we did a North Paseo and a South Paseo. We created 120,000 square feet of retail. We created a park here in the front and another park in the back,
Midtown, yeah,
So we have two towers here, another tower there in the back, and these 4 towers basically look like a coliseum into all this public area, which has on the last floor of all the retail an 8-club paddle club that is public for everybody.
Yeah.
So
You can tell Carlos has done this before. He's thought of everything. The people are going to be so happy. The space is going to be activated. You gave them open public space. You gave them parks. You're giving them greenery. You're giving them activities to do. It's very thoughtful.
So when we had the first input with the community, as I was telling you above, they were very like, hey, we kicked Walmart out.
Right.
We know what we want. So let us give you a list. So they gave us a list. The first thing that they said on the list is, we want to be like the design district.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we said we want to have spaces that are, you know, like the design district. We want to be able to attract the design district people to come here, and when we go there, so we want Midtown to look like the design district.
You're connecting Wynwood, Midtown, Design District, Edgewater. Really, there's a lot of connectivity.
So we did that on the ground floor, and you know, retailers love it because they already have 900 units that are going to be built here over time. Plus, we have in those two corners that you saw, you know, we have two corner office buildings, one of 40,000 square feet, the other one of 20,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Single tenant, you know, small.
Right, you can have your own office building.
Yeah, so the whole idea is that for people that live here, what I was telling about value, you know, like right now in Miami, you know, there are a lot of buildings that are being launched and projects that are being launched all the time. You know, we have 135 jobs that are being launched right now, 35,000 square feet condos, 35,000 condos. 60% of those condos are $3 million and up.
Right.
Because they're targeting people coming from
Luxury.
the Northeast, you know. On the other 40%, 30% of those units are Airbnb, you know.
Yeah.
So people are either selling to the bottom end or to the high end.
The high end.
It's very difficult to find projects that target, you know, what I would call normal condos, you know. And it's very difficult to find projects that target that mid-price point and at the same time offer so much.
And for buyers and investors, what Carlos is talking about is that Midtown Park, by proper, has created and is hitting the sweet spot in pricing and value.
Yes.
You and your partners purchased the land 8 years ago.
Yes.
And so when you have that kind of staying power and you can get in early at a low basis, you can also give that value back to the buyers, and that's what you're doing
That's
here.
the part of the
so
value.
You don't have to reach and overcharge them.
That's the value thing that I was talking about. So then, again, you know, we are always, and this is something that Jorge Pérez, during my 20 years at Related, hammered on us all the time.
The king.
What are you offering? You know, what are you offering to the buyers? You have to offer value. That's what he said all the time, value. So what's your value? It's like, hey, I say like on top of delivering you a beautiful condo with a beautiful kitchen, a beautiful bathroom that you guys are going to see, you know, with interiors by Meyer Davis from New York, you know, we are giving them open space, retail, office, and on the first hour, we partner up with a brand called Proper Hotels from Austin and from LA.
Santa Monica.
You know, Santa Monica, beautiful hotels, you know, and they happen to have a hotel in South Beach. So the buyers that buy here get a membership to the beach club in South Beach.
Yes, I was watching this on the screen, and that's an incredible value proposition.
Yes.
And most people know this, but Carlos Rosso he started out as an assistant project manager at Related. He grew to be the president of Related Condos, working for and with Jorge Pérez and at the Related Group, the titans of condo development in Miami. They really built the skyline. So this is a masterclass in development, in master planning, in sales, and really thoughtful design.
Thank you. But the reality is that you know, it was a great school. And George is an amazing teacher, professor, you know, and he has been my mentor for so many years. And he was the one who encouraged me, hey, you can start flying on your own now, you know?
Right.
And funny enough, you know, he came here 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
You know,
wow.
we had a big presentation with a lot of brokers here, and suddenly who opens the door? George.
Wow, amazing. Yeah.
And they called me. I was outside the office, and they say, Jorge Pérez is here. What do we do? I said, like, I don't know. Just serve him a cup of coffee. You know?
See if he wants to buy a
started
unit.
walking, and all the brokers were like frozen. So they called me again. It's like, hey, people are like asking, you know, what is he doing? I said, just say he's my partner.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Which he is in a couple of other deals.
Yeah.
So, but it's for me, it's not only the friendship, but it's also the how I admire what he has done for Miami, because I always say the first thing that we have to do as developers is convince a family from Argentina, a family from Brazil, a family from Turkey to wire money
Right.
to Miami.
Yeah.
You know, and they need to believe that Miami is growing and
They
that
have to
their
have the
investment
confidence.
keeps growing.
That's right.
And I think that's what we've been doing for the last 20 years. And it's true. It has verified in reality. You know, Miami keeps growing, values keep growing, and we keep attracting more and more billionaires and people that are escaping other states to come down to Florida that has the lowest tax rates in the US.
And for buyers, investors around the world looking at Miami, Miami condo prices have gone up every single year for the last 14 years. This is realtor data.
Yes.
And single family home prices have risen same period. So Miami is attracting people. Interesting stat, okay? 10 years ago, California had 39 million people. Today, California has 39 million people. 10 years ago, New York City had 8.5 million people. Today, New York City has 8.5 million people. Florida, 10 years ago, had 20 million people. Today, we have almost 24 million people. So we've increased Florida. As developers, you want that population growth. You want buyers moving here. Not only that, the wealth migration to Miami and Florida has just been incredible. At the same time that California and New York was losing billions of dollars in net income, that income and those high net worths and buyers and investors are moving to South Florida.
Yep. And I think another thing that I think is very interesting when we do these big meetings, you know, with a lot of brokers, and I normally ask, you know, how many of you have your grandparents in Miami, you know, and maybe 2%. No one, you know, this is a new city. That's why you and me, we can come here and we can succeed.
Right.
Because, you know, we don't have the same sort of genealogy, the same issues of families that have been owning real estate forever, like New York or like Boston or even California, you know. So we can, it's a city that is very welcoming to people that come and really want to work hard.
Right.
You know, and 60% of the people that live in Miami were not born in Miami.
Right. So you can not only pursue the American dream, you can pursue the Miami dream.
Yes, agreed.